Hey friends, welcome back to another speed build. Today I'm building the Capp Manor from The Sims 2 in Veronaville. So as the name implies, the Capp family lives here. And if you've missed some of my other videos, the Capp family, if you're not familiar with The Sims 2, they are based on Romeo and Juliet, the Capulets and the Montagues. So this is the Capp family, and then there's the Monty family from The Sims 2. And yeah, this is where they live. They have a, well, they call it a manor, but honestly, it's not that big. I don't know. It's kind of small. When I was building this, I was like, oh, this is not actually as impressive as I remember it being when I played this back in, 2004. So I do end up making the house a little bit bigger. I kind of, rearrange some things a little bit. With the Sims 2 builds, I will start with the original floor plan and just kind of, go from there. So here I wanted to make the house a little bit more substantial, and plus like the back of the house was just a big flat wall. So there wasn't much detail back there. So I ended up making the kitchen larger, and also adding another bedroom upstairs, and then also another bathroom. And then I also go ahead and add in this kind of two-story deck, which is great, gives a lot more extra living space outside, since there isn't really any like dedicated space for activities and things like that. So I thought this would be a good addition for the house. So I've also decided to recreate the actual Sims from The Sims 2, which has been quite an undertaking. I think the Capp family, like throughout the entire family tree that's in The Sims 2, there's over 40 Sims. So I have been slowly recreating them. I've got maybe half of them done. Because I wanted to have the actual Sims who live in this house, here and able to like do the screenshots with. But yeah, it's wow, it's taken so long to do all of them. Luckily, I'm not like going super in depth with them, but I did want to try to kind of recreate their look from The Sims 2, and yeah, it's a lot. And I think the Monty family is very similar in size, so that's also going to be a lot to do. Yeah, so that is what I'm going to be doing for the next month, I guess, is just recreating Sims, which is funny because I'm just going to end up having to like kill them all off, because they're all like, ancestors. There's like grandparents and great-grandparents and stuff. And I've already had to kill off a lot of Sims, so I'm like, besties with the Grim Reaper. He's like always hanging out at the lot now. He's just like prepared for more Sims to meet their untimely demise. And I did record some of the process of, getting rid of those extra Sims. So I need to post that on social somewhere. So be on the lookout for that. That was quite the experience. But yeah, so this house, it's a Tudor style, similar to other houses in Windenburg, which is where I'm building this. I thought Windenburg made the most sense, since it already has this sort of style, throughout. And then I am going to be building all of the Monty houses on the island in Windenburg, because I think that will help be able to give their houses a little bit different of a look. In the Sims 2, the main Monty house has more of like a Mediterranean look. So I thought I would kind of do that style for the whole island. That way it's a little bit separate. It makes more sense than trying to build it within like the main part of the town. But yeah, so all the Capp houses will be this kind of Tudor style. I already did one, which I will link in the description and on the screen if you want to take a look at that one. It was kind of like it's basically two houses on one lot, which I really like. That's probably like one of my favorite houses or types of houses from The Sims 2. So I really enjoyed making that one. So yeah, and that one has it has one of the actual Capps. Oh, well, two of them. Sorry. Actually, I should probably just go through the family. So there's so actually on this lot that I'm building right now, the Sims who live here are Consort. He's like the grandfather, like the patriarch of the family. And he, you know, is married to Contessa, but she is dead by the time the game starts. And then they had 4 kids. They had Cordelia, Goneril, I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name, Regan, and Kent. So Cordelia and her husband are also dead at the beginning of The Sims 2 as part of the feud with the Montes, apparently. Apparently they died in a fire. And then they had 3 kids, and those 3 kids live on this lot with Consort. So that's Tybalt, the son, Ermia, and Juliet, the daughters. And Regan and Kent live in the other house that I built. So they're brother and sister. And then Regan is married to someone else. What's his name? Cornwall, I think. So yeah, so they live there. I did that house. I haven't actually made all of those Sims. I made Regan and Kent, but I haven't made Cornwall, so I got to do that still. But yeah, so lots to do. And then I still need to make the family tree for Goneril. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's like Goneril. I need to look that up. But yeah, so I think she might be the eldest daughter. But she's married to a man named Albany, and then they also have 4 kids. So I still need to make Albany's family tree, and then I need to make the kids and all of that. So a lot of Sims to make. But yeah, here in the kitchen, so this is quite a bit bigger than the original kitchen. Before, like the original one, it was basically just like 1 row of counters on like 1 wall, maybe like 5 along. It wasn't like a U shape or really anything like that. It's very small. So I wanted to make the kitchen larger. I added in nicer appliances. I did use base game cabinets and counters because I thought those worked well with the style of this house. And then I also made the dining room, well, the dining room and the kitchen, they're obviously in the same room, but they are more separate from the rest of the house. Originally, the kitchen was like in its own small room, and then the dining room was, I don't know, almost like in this hallway. Like it was just kind of like one big long entry slash dining slash living room, which I didn't think really made sense for a house of this kind of stature. So I wanted to separate that. So I put the dining room here along with, you know, these china cabinets, which I did size up using the tool mod. I really like the china cabinets that are in the game, but a lot of them are just very small. So I did use the tool mod for that. I try not to use the tool mod too much because I know like if you delete it, you can't get it back to the same size as it you know, it was with the mod. So, and if you don't have the mod, or you know, you're playing on console, you can't really do anything with that. So I do try to limit it, but I did want it to look a little bit nicer. Same with the rug. I did size that up a little bit because it was kind of an odd, just an odd size for the dining table. And then I do this small powder room on the first floor. And then originally there were actually 2 sets of stairs going to the upper level, which I guess would make sense in like a grand house, but I don't know, the layout was just very strange with them. So I just did kind of like the switchback stairs, which I think still have that nicer look. And I apologize if you can hear any road noise, any cars driving by. I swear I live in like the noisiest place, certainly the noisiest place I've ever lived. I think they insulated these walls with air. So yeah, and plus there's a bus stop right outside, which is nice, but also very loud. So yeah, apologies if you can hear any of that. I'm trying to stop it before you can hear it. So, but yeah, here in the living room, this originally was Consort's bedroom, at least in this space. And then there was like an attached bathroom. But I thought I really wanted to make the living room separate and larger and nicer. So I put this here, and then I ended up moving his bedroom upstairs. And then I'm pretty sure these fireplaces are from Cottage Living. I'm pretty sure. And then I use the bookcases from the Book Nook kit. I thought those worked well as sort of like a built-in under the window. And then I do put in quite a few very expensive items, like the suit of armor and some different statues and things. And then I had this kind of, weird area over by the windows, so I put in a games table. And then I of course have to have a chess table, so I put that in a different room, but it is available, so don't worry. And I basically turn what the living room area was in the original into an office here. I thought it would make sense for Consort to have an office. He is in the business career, or at least he was. I think he's retired by the time the game begins in The Sims 2. But yeah, I thought he should have an office here, so I use some of the unlockable items from the business career, like the desk and the chair. I imagine he would have earned those during his time doing all the business. And yeah, here's got the chess table in there, and then just do some kind of a bunch of different decorations in here. I ended up putting in this leather chair, which I believe is also an unlockable item from the business career. So I thought that made sense. And then I put in these photos from Get Together, I believe, they're kind of like historical looking photos. So I thought that really suited the style. And then this first bedroom that I'm doing upstairs is Juliet's. And she is supposed to be, a little bit more of a goody two-shoes, a little bit more of an overachiever. She's doing the best in school out of them. So I wanted to make her room very colorful and just kind of fun. And when I created her in Create a Sim, I did give her the overachiever trait. And then I believe I gave her the romance aspiration. I thought that would make sense as, kind of the main character here. And yeah, I used a lot of high school years, really in all of the teen bedrooms, but especially in hers, and then also some of the pastel pop kit items like the desk. I thought these all worked really well together, so her room is very colorful, very, very bright. And of course, Juliet will be in love with Romeo Monti once he's been created. So I'll have to, go through and make all those relationships a thing. So here I'm just doing the primary bathroom, or the bathroom attached to the primary bedroom. It's not anything special. I went with a pretty simple black and white theme for all of the bathrooms. They're all pretty much the same. And I imagine maybe they've been slightly renovated, so the sink is a little bit nicer than what you might find in an older home like this. And then, yeah, this is the primary bedroom, so this is where Consort and Contessa, this was their bedroom. So yeah, it's very, kind of an older style. Used the very expensive bed. I wanted to get some artwork up on the walls. I believe that dresser is just from the base game. And yeah, fairly simple overall. I don't know. He doesn't really give me a lot of personality, so I didn't do a whole lot for his bedroom or his office. I imagine he's just some standard old guy. So, and the floor plan was a bit different where I'm doing the bathroom here. Originally, Juliet's room went over further, closer to this bathroom, but it wasn't quite as wide the other way. I don't know if that makes sense. You may have seen it at the beginning when I was readjusting the rooms, but yeah, it kind of gave this bigger open area next to the stairs, so I end up putting some other things there later on. But for this bedroom, this is for Hermia. I looked at the pronunciation. Hopefully that is correct. Her name's based off of a character in one of Shakespeare's other works. I want to say, actually, I'm not going to say because I don't remember. But yeah, so she is a little bit more rebellious. So I gave her a darker aesthetic for her room. I imagine maybe she's really into music, so I used a bunch of those record items from high school years, along with the with that really great stereo item. I don't remember what pack that's from, and I know it's an unlockable one, but I don't know if it's from a pack or it might be base game. But yeah, I thought those worked well in here. And then I think those curtains are from the one of the newer kits, Modern Luxe, I want to say. So those worked really nicely in here. Used a lot of high school years furniture from the bed and the desk, and put in a bunch of different posters and all of that. So really liked how her room turned out. And then this last bedroom is for Tybalt. I think that's how you pronounce that. He is, I think he has the popularity aspiration originally in The Sims 2, so that's what I gave him in this one. I imagine he is kind of just your average regular guy. He just likes sports and video games and things like that, so that's kind of the direction that I went here. Used this bright red color. I don't know, it worked. He wears a lot of red in, at least in the Sims 2 version. You know, this version, he's not quite the same, but you'll see him a little bit in the screenshots. But yeah, so got a gaming console in there, a lot of posters and all of that. Similar curtains, just a different color. And yeah, I really liked how his bedroom turned out. I wanted to make sure I got a dresser in there, so I'm kind of trying to rearrange some things. And then I ended up swapping out the TV stand for a dresser. I thought that made a little bit more sense. That way it's, you know, more functional. And then I also add in a larger armoire, so he has more storage space. And he's also an active sim, so I wanted to make sure I got in some like workout equipment, which I'll do after this bathroom. The bathroom is basically just a copy and paste from the other ones. Used that I did use the shower from Growing Together, so that's a little bit different. Again, maybe this is a newer edition or it's been renovated, so a little bit nicer. But yeah, so here I added in some workout equipment, and I decided to create just a small extra room for it. That way it's not just like out in this hallway. So luckily there was just enough space there for that. And then yeah, here with this kind of extra space, I just added in a bookcase and just some chairs and some decorative items to kind of finish this off. And the original version of this house has like a family graveyard outside. And it did have the actual, tombstones from the family. And I was actually able to recreate that, completely accurately, since I have all the gravestones from the people who needed to be in there. But unfortunately, I don't think the gallery lets you upload that, because I mean, they're tied to specific sims, so I don't know, it wouldn't really make sense, I guess. But I do wish it had put in some sort of placeholder. So if you download this from the gallery, there's just like an empty fenced-in area, which is a little disappointing, especially after all the work I went through to recreate all those sims. So yeah, but I need to also upload the family, and I don't know if I put things in their inventory, if those will carry through. Probably not, which is a little unfortunate. I could share it as a save file, but I don't know, if anyone's really interested in all of that. So you have to let me know if you're interested. Maybe I'll put together a save file so you can have the most accurate Capp family possible. So now I am working on the exterior of the build, and the original version had this sort of tiered, layered, big grand front yard. So I wanted to recreate that as accurately as possible. So trying to use the train tools as well as I can. And yeah, just putting in some stairs, and then I noticed that the train heights aren't quite right for the stairs to work how I want, so I had to lift up the upper level a little bit more. And I just made the stairs shorter. I mean, I guess I could have lifted up the house more if I really wanted to, but I didn't think it was super necessary. And the original doesn't have a fountain at the, outside the house, at least not like that. But I thought it, fit in really well. I found it when I was looking through the catalog for other items, so I thought I would add it in. And I did skip ahead a little bit with the flooring for the outside, because it was taking a while to figure out what I wanted, so just kind of cut some of that out. That would have been boring to watch. But yeah, so I added in a fence around the whole place. There was like a big stone wall fence in the original, so I wanted to recreate that. I believe that one's just from Get Together. And then yeah, they did have these two kind of square fountains in the original, so I did add those back in. Oddly, I don't know if it's a bug or if it's always been like that, but I could not put floor tiles around the fountain. So yeah, I don't know if that's just how the game is or if there's some weird bug, but yeah, it would not let me put it right next to the fountain, so that was a little annoying. But I think it ends up looking fine once I'll put a trim on that a little bit later. And the original version had this interesting design of flowers and shrubs and everything on this level of the tiers. So I wanted to try to recreate it. I was struggling to do it exactly how they had it in the Sims 2 version. So I just kind of made my own with these like really giant shrubs and like the smaller ones and then the flowers around it. Though I kind of wish I would have used different flowers because those ones, I don't know, they blend in a little bit too much, I think. But yeah, so here for the fountain, I added in kind of the rose petally water, and then I added in like an actual dome fountain. So it's a pretty nice effect in live mode with it, kind of shooting water. And yeah, here is where the graveyard is. So I do actually have all of the, gravestones that I would need. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer that it did not upload correctly. So that's disappointing, but here we are. If you have the vampires pack, you can always put in the fake ones, which I thought about doing after I realized that it wasn't going to upload, but I was like, I don't know. So otherwise, if you want to use this for your own like legacy gameplay, you can always put your own family's gravestones there, so you have like a nice little spot to visit them. That's always, that would also be nice. And overall, the landscaping is actually very simple. It wasn't overly landscaped in the original version, and I also didn't really want to bother with the terrain paint since there's been that weird bug where it just keeps deleting every single time that I do it. So I didn't bother with terrain paint. Hopefully they fix that bug so it's, not a big waste of time to do all this like really nice terrain paint just to have it delete when you reload the lot, because that is incredibly frustrating. And I did also add in chimneys for the fireplaces. I had kind of forgotten that I had added, or I had put in fireplaces, so I wanted to make that a little bit more realistic. And yeah, now I'm just kind of going through and doing all of the lighting for the lot. Used a lot of wall sconces. I thought that made a lot of sense for this kind of older style house. I believe these wall sconces are from Growing Together. They worked out really well. I don't know. I don't know if I had really noticed that they were in the game, so I might end up using those quite a bit more. I thought they suited the style really nicely, so that worked out well. And then yeah, I do add in quite a bit of just like expensive art and all of that. Since this family's been around for quite a while, I imagine they have quite a bit of money. So yeah. So I think I mentioned it before, but I am also going to be building a restaurant for one of the members of the Monty family, because canonically he owns a restaurant, but they didn't really reflect that in the actual Sims 2 since that wasn't a capability in the base game. So I thought I would build a restaurant for him to own using like all the stuff from Dine Out. So I think I'll be doing that for my next video. And then I might actually do their house next week. That way I can kind of do all of that together. I think that would make sense. And yeah, that should be great. I'm really excited to do a restaurant because that didn't exist in The Sims 2, so it's kind of, something a little bit more. I'll have a little bit more creative freedom, I guess, to create whatever I want with that. So be on the lookout for that. And honestly, this house is probably a bit darker than I would normally do as far as, lighting goes. But I thought it made sense for this house. So I wanted it to be a little bit moodier and, have that, kind of older feeling of like not having electricity when this house was built. And I don't know if you saw it, but I was going to use one of the lights from Growing Together. It's like a table light. But it was basically worthless. Like, it did not give off any light at all, and I was very upset by that because I don't know. Like, why would you make this light not give off any light? Is very frustrating. Yeah, pretty much finishing up here, just kind of doing a few more details outside and then all the exterior lighting, and then that will pretty much wrap it up. Like I said, this house is available on the gallery if you want to download it. It does use like 1 million packs, so I apologize about that, but hopefully you can still download it if you would like to. And yeah, thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. I know there's a million things you could be doing. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you so much. Have a great day.